What's up, everyone? I'm Chase Lee, and welcome back to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and I usually have a co-host named Brian Sudfield. He is not here right now, and that's all I'll say, so let the conspiracy theories fly down below. I'd like to see all the answers to where he is actually at. But no, I'm going to fly solo, and so that is the first thing about this episode that's going to be a little weird. And the second thing is that this is recording on a Thursday, and I'm going to release it to you on a Thursday because why the fuck not? It's the holidays, so here's your fucking gift, guys. The top 5 Martin Scorsese episode. Whoops, did I just spoil it? Yes, I did. Anyways, welcome to the show where we take a look at some of the movies coming out on Friday, and we will make a top 5 list according to it, and we will pick an actor, actress, director, genre, what have you, and we will honor said movie with a top 5 list. And the cool thing about the show is I have no idea what Brian's list usually is, and I have no idea what is going to even happen. It's live, so it's just kind of like, wham, bam, let's fucking go. So, happy holidays, guys, and this is your fucking gift, is getting this episode early, so it does not release on Saturday, so there you go. This week, in honor of silence, we have Martin Scorsese. Now, I have been waiting to talk about this man for the longest time. He is one of my favorite filmmakers of all time, so it's going to be really interesting to kind of see Brian's list and my list. Now, he did text me his list, so we'll kind of, get his thoughts and whatnot and his placements and whatnot. Just like usual, he just won't be here because conspiracy theory. Where is he at? He's in a cave somewhere hibernating. So, yeah, top 5 Martin Scorsese. And you know what's really cool about Martin Scorsese is that the older he gets, the cooler he gets. Now, he's been making movies for a very long time, for what, 50, 60 years now? Whoa, that's fucking insane. So anyways, I've really enjoyed this man's work. Every single time he comes out with something, it's usually every 3 years, and I usually get excited about, I don't know what the hell it is. I don't care what it's about. I'm going to go see it strictly because of his name, and I'm excited to see Silence. So, yeah. Haven't seen it yet. I don't think it opens up in Dallas until, I think, like the 13th in January. Fuck. So, yeah, without any further ado, guys, Martin Scorsese, one of my favorites. So, let's do this. Top 5 Saturdays Live, Martin Scorsese films. Let's go. So, number 5, I'm going to read Brian's description of each one of his picks, and then we'll get to mine. So, Brian's number 5 is Raging Bull. That's interesting. And what Brian texted me was, my favorite De Niro performance, Jake LaMotta. Wow. If you haven't seen this, then you suck. Congratulations for telling our awesome audience members that they suck. You guys don't suck, but apparently Brian thinks you do. Anyways, I'm going to pass on this. So great pick, Brian. My number 5, I'm going to go with one that where I saw it for the first time, I was just completely blown away by the epic filmmaking that was happening before me. The costumes, the art direction, just the whole environment. It felt like the late 1800s. I love just a classic. I love classic revenge tales, and I think Gangs of New York did that for me. So my number 5 is Gangs of New York. It was also the first time I ever saw Daniel Day-Lewis. What a great fucking performance. Psychotic Bill the fucking Butcher. The whole premise of the movie is that Leonardo DiCaprio, I believe his name is Amsterdam, he basically returns to where he grew up, and he tries to go kill Bill the Butcher because he killed his father. So simple revenge tale. That's all it is. It's a very long revenge tale, and it does lead up to one of the coolest battle sequences that Martin Scorsese has done. It's basically like a mini Braveheart battle in the back of an alleyway while it's snowing. So it's super bloody. So, but I really like I said, a lot of layers to this movie. Like I said, the way it looks visually and aesthetically with the late 1800s is absolutely beautiful. When you add that with the wide shots that Scorsese likes to bring you in, it's very beautiful eye candy. And when you have strong performances like in Leonardo DiCaprio, obviously, because come on, he's basically Robert De Niro part 2, and you have the very powerful supporting performance of a Daniel Day-Lewis, that 2 hour and 45-minute mark, I think, of the movie just flies by. And that's the one thing you're always going to realize with Scorsese films is that There's never any lulls in his movie, in my eyes. Now, a lot of people are saying that Silence is like the first slow movie that feels very slow from Martin Scorsese, but for the most part, he chooses his shots very precisely. He chooses the scenes precisely and how they're cut together, and that's what makes a coherent scene to really kind of draw you in. Doesn't waste any time, and it's always airtight into what it's trying to deliver. But Gangs of New York, I think, is a very underrated one that no one really ever talks about. I like the whole damn thing, except for Cameron Diaz. Now, listen, I've never been a huge Cameron Diaz fan, but if Martin Scorsese can see something in her, maybe she's got some talent. I just thought that she was a little miscast. It's like when you have like the upper echelons of acting with Leonardo DiCaprio and Daniel Day-Lewis, and you're going to shove Cameron Diaz in that mix, no fucking thank you. So, and another thing you're going to hear me repeat throughout this entire list is that Scorsese likes to use violence in a very like brutal but yet beautiful way. It's very weird how the violence he portrays is never like over the top. It's just like, it's brutal, it's visceral, but it's also really cool to look at. Like, it's really interesting how he portrays violence in film and how kind of magical it is, and how how sucked in you can be just from all this blood in this film. And that's the way he does with all of his the violence in his movies. But it serves the purpose of the story, and it also, like I said, doesn't feel fake. It feels real. It feels like you're watching real people die or real people get, shot or cut or whatever. So Gangs of New York, Bill the fucking Butcher, Daniel Day-Lewis, one of my favorite performances ever. So that would be my number 5. Brian, what is your number 4? Oh, he's not here. So me and Brian's number 4 is actually the same. We're going, let me switch it over. The Wolf of Wall Street. So let me read you Brian's little blurb. Leonardo DiCaprio's best comedic performance. Him and Jonah Hill crush it in the 3-hour epic. Funny, insane, and wonderful. Margot Robbie, hottest woman on planet. He just said on planet, not the planet, just on planet. Planet, whatever. So, I agree with all that. So, to go with like the directing style of Martin Scorsese, the one thing I really like about this one came out in 2013. At this point, I think Scorsese is in his 70s. This film looked like it was fucking made from someone my age. I'm 26. This movie is fast-paced, it is energetic, and it's entertaining as all hell to watch these corrupt motherfuckers who you absolutely hate basically rise up to the top and fucking hit rock bottom. Like, it's so weird how we as a society love damaged people. We love terrible people. But it's the type of like likability to where like when you watch a character like that, like you do feel a little connection towards, and that's kind of why we like terrible people, because Leonardo DiCaprio in this is amazing, and what he does, he plays a real life person named Jordan Belfort who basically screwed a lot of people in Wall Street and basically rose to the top, got a lot of money, and then basically got caught by the feds, and he wrote a book. And here we are. So he is a very unlikable person. But there's something about his journey that he takes that you're just so invested in. And it kind of just draws you in with the insanity that happens before you. Just like what Brian said, it's very funny and it's very engaging, especially for 3 hours. A lot of people say that this is a very bloated film and 3 hours did not need to be. But, I mean, a lot of people have argued, which I agree with, that, Scorsese made this a 3-hour-long bloated movie to kind of show the excessiveness of wealth, greed, and corruption. So, in that way, it kind of worked, and I actually was okay with it because this thing is top-notch in terms of editing quality. It is wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and you were in and out. That 3 hours was one of the fastest theater experiences I have ever had in my life. In the supporting cast, when you have like a Jonah Hill, who just those Quaalude scenes are just so magical. And then Margot Robbie, that was the introduction to her. And yes, she gets fully nude. Gentlemen, I am totally with you. But her character was also very good, going toe-to-toe with Leonardo DiCaprio, because Leonardo DiCaprio was very insane in the fucking membrane in this movie. When you look at his character transformation from when the movie started to where the movie ended, you saw that wealth and that greed and that corruption really kind of sink into him. And at the end of the movie, you kind of see him apologize a little bit towards everything that he's done, and it looks like he's a changed person, but still doesn't excuse you from being a dick. But I really did like Margot Robbie's performance in this, and it did give us this movie did give us her in that regard, and now she's one of the most sought out actresses in Hollywood. But yeah, with the fast editing style and the overall just entertainment from this film, and the fact that a 70-year-old man made this film just shows you why it's one of the best. So that is Bryan and I's number 4. So yeah. All right. Moving on to number 3. Bryan has a Taxi Driver. Okay. I'm gonna have to pass on that. So what Bryan says is that De Niro's best performance, one of the best character transformations, plus Sybil Shepherd meow. So I guess he likes him some Sybil Shepherd. So yeah, so that's not my number 3. I told you I'd pass on it. So my number 3 is Goodfellas. I believe when I was watching films back in the day, as a kid, teenager, whatever you want to call it, I think Goodfellas was my first Martin Scorsese film, and I really loved just everything about it, even when I didn't really understand filmmaking. And when I saw this film, the way it opens with the whole trunk scene, and just when you see this journey of Henry Hill climb up the ladder of gangster, it's one of those things that just kind of fascinates you, because being a gangster or a mobster or whatever, that doesn't really sound appealing to me. It sounds like I'm going to get shot on the first day. However, Scorsese films this and edits this in such a way to where it's actually kind of inviting to be a gangster and mobster. When you see some of the lavishly big things they can have or whatnot, money wise, and all the connections they have, it seems like a very inviting world that you would really want to be a part of. But then you realize deep down you'll probably get fucked over, and then some mobster will have a reward on your head or whatever. So yeah, my very first Martin Scorsese film, and I remember it quite well, and still one of my favorites of all time in terms of gangster movies. It's always the one I refer to people. I love the long tracking shots. I love just the way the movie looks. It has this old school feel while still being kind of modern, which is really awesome. Because Scorsese really likes to shoot on film, and it really kind of shows in his movies, and really kind of adds that kind of classic nature to his films. And then Robert De Niro. What's more to say? My top 3 are going to be really hard to really not say that they're the best one, but Robert De Niro is fantastic in this. It was also my first exposure to Ray Liotta, and then of course the Oscar-winning performance of Joe Pesci. Hey, you think I'm fucking funny? You think I'm like clown funny? I can't do the line. I can't do that whole scene. But his performance was very commanding. Every time when Joe Pesci was on screen, you're like, this fucking guy's gonna kill someone. So yeah, I love the whole fascination of gangsters and mobsters and stuff, and just that whole underground connecting world of people that have their own little societies, and they go out and fucking kill people, and they make deals with higher up people, and it's a fucking crazy environment. But I think this was the first one I was exposed to gangster wise, and it's one I always refer to people. And I really like the music as well. The music is really Scorsese-esque, very epic, but very fitting for the type of genre it is. So yeah, Goodfellas for me is my number 3. And you're probably thinking Jesus, that is your number 3. Then what the fuck is your top 2? I think these are the pinnacle of Scorsese's career, even though he continues to make good stuff today. So we'll get to that. Moving on to Bryan's number 2. Let me switch it over. Just opening my phone here, see what he says. Bryan's number 2 is The Departed. Of course it's The Departed. He's from the fucking East Coast. All right. So his little blurb is that one of the best ensemble films I've ever seen in my life. DiCaprio, Nicholson, and Wahlberg. Hey, it's Marky Mark. How's it going? I was in The Departed. Steal the show. The Departed is not on my list, but I agree. Departed was very surprising. I really loved everyone's chemistry back and forth. I love DiCaprio and Nicholson being intimidating and really scaring the shit out of Leo, because he didn't belong there. I'm not going to spoil anything, but he did not belong in that environment. It was really awesome to kind of see that. The tension was always there when Leo walked into like a bar or an office of Jack Nicholson. You're like, oh shit, what's going to happen? He's going to fucking find out. Ugh. And then of course Matt Damon, Alec Baldwin, and Mike, how's it going? Yeah, I think it's just an all around really good kind of gangster cop type of movie from the Scorsese, and it's also a remake of Infernal Affairs, and I forgot which country that hails from, but I have not seen that one, but I like The Departed quite a bit. So my number 2, I'm gonna go with Brian's number 3. I'm gonna go with Taxi Driver. Now, if you've never seen this movie, do not wait as long as I did to watch it, because I actually got done watching for the first time last year, and I was completely blown away by De Niro's performance, because you have to realize that De Niro back in the day was like something special. Nowadays, it's like a hit and miss type of deal. It's like De Niro. When you look at films like Taxi Driver, it's like, where did that fucking guy go? And I realized that acting is a paying job. It is a job. And some actors basically pick roles for paychecks. I get that. You want to pay the mortgage on your house? Fuck, I would too. But some of the stuff he's doing nowadays is so embarrassing, Dirty Grandpa. And so when you look at films like this, you're like, wow, this guy is something special. And Taxi Driver is something special. If you guys don't know the story, he plays Travis Bickle, who is a Vietnam War vet who comes back to the city to basically get a job. He is a cab driver, and he pretty much just watches the world and the grossness of society kind of like collapsing on him, and really kind of just makes him mad and makes him angry, and he acts upon that anger and stuff. It's a great film about a person coming back from war and really kind of discovering that the real disgusting part of humanity is within the urban areas, in the streets and whatnot. And I found that to be quite intriguing, that Travis Bickle was probably not the crazy one. And the crazy one was actually the people that he picked up in his cab or the people he witnessed on the edge of the street. And so that kind of spirals him into madness. And it really kind of goes on this spree to rid the filth of society, if you will. And I really kind of like that, because it's a character study of someone with PTSD and someone that comes back from the war, and how people from the war are treated and how shittily they're treated. And, I mean, he was a person that fought in the war for your freedom, and he comes back and he has to be a cab driver. And it's like, it's just amazing how vets are treated nowadays. But that's for a different topic. But his performance is very subtle, but deep down that he's got a lot of anger and rage and just frustration and sadness and so many emotions under his face, but he doesn't really burst out his emotions until the very end. But throughout this entire time, you just kind of follow him and really kind of understand his point of view on how people in the fucking cities are terrible. And he kind of realizes that, and he, kind of calls upon his military expertise, if you will, and goes to take care of business. And he also comes encounter with Jodie Foster, who plays a prostitute, which was a really great performance and whatnot. But just the color scheme of the way it looks, because it is the movie came out in the 70s, I believe. Yes, and so I really like the 70s kind of grunge look to it, that kind of like dirty look. It fits, because the whole movie takes place in a city, and the city can be dirty sometimes. So I really liked the way it looked color-wise and whatnot, and it was just a great color palette. And the very end is one of those like endings that kind of makes you sit back and go, damn, that was a good fucking movie. And it's definitely an ending that makes you think long after. I got the the 40th anniversary edition on Blu-ray a few weeks ago during Black Friday. It was on sale. I was like, why the fuck no, I don't have it. So yeah, I would recommend Taxi Driver to anyone to see very powerful performance from Bobby De Niro and witness the kind of dissension of a man who was thrown back into society after a war and really just kind of fed up with society. So yeah, Taxi Driver, whew, some good shit. And so you're probably thinking like, God damn, you just like are riding on the Taxi Driver's dick for a while. Like, what the hell's your number one? So let's get to Brian's number one. And Brian's number one is Goodfellas. And the only thing he sent me was best movie ever made, period. I mean, yeah, it's one of the best. And I thought that for a very long time, mind you. I thought that Goodfellas was the best thing from Scorsese. But then I realized that there were two movies I had not seen. One of them being Taxi Driver, and I saw that for the first time last year. Completely blown away. There was another film. And it's my number one. I also saw it last year for the first time, and now I own it because it was really funny. I saw the movie, I believe, what was it? It was on HBO or something, and I loved it. I went to a pawn store the next day. This is a true story. Found it for $1 on DVD. I was like, well, this is a fucking sign. I'm going to go ahead and get it. My number one's Raging Bull. This doesn't even feel like a movie. It felt like an experience. To see Robert De Niro play this boxer, Jake LaMotta, kind of go throughout his career and, you know, have his brother and, you know, women at his side, and his brother played by Joe Pesci, and just kind of see his life and how he, you know, started from the bottom and now he kind of rises to the top. He becomes arrogant and stuff. And then towards the end of the film, you kind of see where his life is at many years later. And it's just really depressing to watch. It's got one of the best character transformations I've ever seen on film. It's got one of the best weight transformations I've ever seen on film. Robert De Niro is very fit. He's very lean for his boxing scenes. And when he is like current, modern Jake LaMotta, because it's told through flashbacks, he is fat and overweight, and he's basically doing side gigs to pay for God knows what, and basically kind of reevaluates his life when, you know, he goes to jail. Mild spoiler, but it's like, he's pretty old. So, yes. From the powerful performance and the transformation from Robert De Niro, and the fact that this is one of those boxers that you actually feel for. This is one of those boxers you actually hurt for when he's in the ring or when he's outside the ring dealing with his family drama. It's one of those things where you make it feel like this is a real person. This is not Robert De Niro acting in front of you. This is a real life person. And the other thing I really appreciate about this film is it's in black and white. And the visual aesthetic that you have with this film is so gorgeous. The way Scorsese lights his scenes, the way he shoots his scenes are very visceral and brutal and super beautiful. That scene when he's in the jail and you have like this light on Jake LaMotta, just one light, and he's so angry with himself and he breaks down because he realizes that he has hit rock bottom. It's one of the most beautiful scenes and one of the most expertly directed and executed scenes I've ever seen. The boxing scenes are really well handled. I love the way the camera just kind of floats around and follows these boxers as they are fighting and beating the shit out of each other. It never has like fast and quick edits, you know, like this bullshit you see nowadays. It's Scorsese, so you're going to have like these long, drawn-out takes of people boxing, or when it is cut fast, it is meant for a reason to kind of go with, you know, characters' motions or the way the action is portrayed, and it's not just a cut mechanism or a shaky camera mechanism to make it appear like the action is happening. No, it's actually happening, and it's really kind of amazing to see. And Robert De Niro is convincing as a boxer. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't read up on this in a while, but I think he trained for a while to actually box so he can be legitimate for the scenes. And he also, you know, like I said, gained and lost the weight in a short amount of time, which was fucking bizarre to me. I don't know how he fucking did that. And just like with Taxi Driver, in Taxi Driver, he actually was a cab driver for a while. He actually method acted. He was in Dirty Grandpa earlier this year. Anyways, Raging Bull. Going back to the authenticity of his performance, it's just groundbreaking. Joe Pesci, also great. It's just an expertly directed movie, and the music is so fucking good. It sweeps you into this world, and it really kind of makes you invested into this world right off the bat. When you put in the DVD in the main menu, was on before I played it and whatnot, I was like all over it. I was like, damn, this. It just immediately puts you back into the movie, and if this is the first time you're watching it, the music is just very epic, and it's very kind of moving, and really kind of has a lot of emotions that Jake LaMotta is actually going throughout the movie. So it actually makes sense for his journey. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. I think Raging Bull is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is one of my favorite movies in my collection. It is my favorite Martin Scorsese movie. It's my favorite Robert De Niro performance. And I think it's the best boxing film of all time. There's really nothing more to say, guys. Raging Bull is my number one. So that will do it for our list, guys. And here's our list from both of us. We both have Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, and The Wolf of Wall Street. We just have He Has Departed, switched out with Gangs of New York from mine. So yeah. So what about you guys? What are some of your favorite Martin Scorsese films? Comment in the place from my face and let me know. And that's not just it, folks, because Scorsese has like the mother load when it comes to movies. This guy's a fucking magnetic director to where I'm telling you, every time when he is announced with something, I am all over it. I cannot wait to see it. I don't even care what it's about. So here are the honorable mentions, the ones that just couldn't make it on the list. I know a lot of people are clamoring for one of them. Just going on IMDb here. Mean Streets, very awesome gangster movie to kind of get you ready for Goodfellas. I've never seen The King of Comedy. I heard that one was really good. I actually really want to see that one. After Hours is a really great one. I remember one of my friends, Scott Menzel, he actually made me watch it, and it was super delicious. It was very different from any Scorsese film you'll ever see. It's basically about this guy that we just kind of follow him throughout the night after a certain period, and after hours, you kind of like that weird window from like 10 p.m. to like 6 a.m. or whatever. So I thought it was really, really fun. I've never seen The Last Temptation of Christ. I need to see it. And that's the one thing you'll kind of notice with me is I'm a huge Scorsese fan. A lot of films I haven't seen. Got to get up on that. Never seen Cape Fear. Heard that was pretty good. Casino. Very great. Kind of very weird not sequel to Goodfellas. I really like that one quite a bit. I've never actually seen The Aviator. I know. Weird, right? Departed for sure. Shutter Island. I actually really like. And funny story. When I was working in the theater, when I was a teenager, this came out in 2010, so I was 20 years old. I remember like hearing that there was a plot twist at the end that kind of really turned the whole movie on its head, and it was almost like a Sixth Sense ending. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stay away from the theater so I don't have any fucking yahoos come out and like spoil it for me. And lo and behold, people try to spoil it. So I actually told my manager, I was like, listen, I don't mind cleaning these theaters, but I won't get there until everyone's out of the theater because I don't want to hear anyone talking about it. So yeah, I'm really anal about spoilers. So that's what I used to do when I was working at the movie theater. I would totally just wait until everyone's out of the theater because you're supposed to greet them at the doors or whatever. No, because when you greet them, as soon as they burst out of that theater, it's like they're a fucking spoiler machine. They're just like, well, did you know that guy was dead? And it's like, motherfucker, I was about to watch the movie like tomorrow. Like, thanks for ruining it for me. So, yeah, I like Shutter Island quite a bit. It's Scorsese's dip into horror almost, which I think he'll actually do a better job with The Devil in the White City, I believe this was called, where it's about like the first serial killer ever, and it's with Leonardo DiCaprio. That's going to be Scorsese's horror film. Hugo, I really like. Nice little kids film. Very, very, damn. That set design, art direction kind of rivals Gangs of New York for me in terms of like authenticity and just kind of really harkens you back to the good old days of like silent films and stuff. Some good shit. And that's it. I haven't seen Silence yet. So yeah, that's my honorable mentions and dishonorable mentions. Um, I don't really know. That's pretty much it. Because yeah, all the rest I haven't seen. I guess like the weakest one that he's done that I've seen. Uh, that's non-existent. So I actually don't have any dishonorable mentions. And like I said, I really need to catch up on a lot of his films, but that will do it for this week's episode, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, having it early, a few days early, and that is our gift to you. So yeah, I just hope you guys have safe holidays, safe travels, and wherever the hell you go. And this will be the last episode for a while. Don't worry, I'm not going off the air. It's okay. It's okay, fam. We got you. But no, we're just taking a break for the holidays. So I know next week for sure is a break, and it might be back in 2 weeks, or it might be back in 3 weeks. Either way, we'll be back in January for sure at some point. But yeah, until then, please comment down below what are some of your favorite and least favorite Martin Scorsese films, and please let me know all that, because I love talking with you guys. You guys are the fucking best. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's @RealChaseLee. Follow Brian at BrianSuds98. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let people know out there that this is the definitive top 5 podcast. So that will do it for this week's episode of Martin Scorsese, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. Once again, you guys are fucking dope, and we will see you guys in the new year for a brand new slate, new yearly slate of top 5 Saturdays live. So peace out, everyone. Happy holidays. Please don't die. Please, and if we die, I apologize. This will be the last episode, but hopefully it was a good one. So I'll see you guys later.